Good morning, welcome back to my channel. Yes, they're just impromptu at the moment when I go, hey, I want to tell you something. No, not much. How are you all? Hope you're all very well. So, big news in Australia is that an ex-Australian Test cricketer and a morning TV host has had a fight and an argument over the alleged affair that the cricketer had with the sister of the wife of the TV host. Yes, welcome. Like, really? That's the most important thing? That is just covering my Facebook feed, my Twitter feed, all the newspapers. Like, really? The sister of the TV host's wife going out with the ex-cricketer and there's an alleged affair, and then the other, who knows? I don't know whether it's true or not. I basically don't care. I don't care. But yes, that is the big story around the place. Seriously, like, get a life, people. Hello, Angela, how are you? Good. So, something's riled me up, and it's our favourite YouTube journalist, because she has been quoting the Bible to us. That is correct. So I'm a little bit riled up over that, because seriously, if you don't believe in it, why would you quote it? Or if you're going to quote it, yeah. So let's see what she had to say on her Facebook page. So we've got, so often when a criminal is caught committing atrocious crimes, they fall back on God. Some of the worst criminals use their religion as a shield to conceal the misdeeds and crimes against society. When someone is found guilty by overwhelming evidence, these same people sometimes use God as their weapon, claiming persecution. Oftentimes, these same people use their platforms to slander, harass, and blame the righteous people that held them accountable. If only these same people would actually read the Bible, they would actually see what Jesus said about their actions. While I'm not religious, I do respect many of the teachings within the Bible. If you use a Bible as your holy book, one would assume that you would respect the teachings which command people not to steal, murder, commit adultery, bear false witness, covet which is not yours. Growing up Catholic, whoops, I've got so much I want to say about this. As I said, I mean, it's interesting because, yeah, anyway. The 10 Commandments were ingrained in me. Perhaps one valuable lesson I can take from childhood is that you don't steal, covet, lie, or cheat. Hello, Terry C. So when you see celebrities blaming others, but then when you see that celebrities blaming others, but then falling on their faith, just remember that real people of faith don't blame anyone else for their crimes. Narcissistic people do blame others and will have their flying monkeys also proclaim their innocence. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Oh, sorry, that was really snarky, sorry. Just because someone says that they've been framed and set up doesn't mean they have. It just means they're losing their platform and they're willing to do anything to keep their fame. Now, my comments are, and then she quotes, then Jesus said, beware, guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by how much you own. Says the person that just bragged that they bought a brand new BMW. Seriously, anyway. So she's talking about slander, harass, blame the righteous people that held them accountable. If she actually read the Bible, she'd read that the Apostle Paul said that there was no one righteous, that we were all sinners. So that's that one debunked. They would see what Jesus would say about their actions. Jesus also said that he that was without sin could cast the first stone. Here, there was also in there about gossip. So shall we keep going? So let's see what the flying monkeys have got to say. Some of these same people tend to pick and choose which parts of the Bible they follow, as well as choosing how they interpret it. That's the thing, Angela. It's funny for somebody that doesn't say, that says that they don't believe in God, and now she's, yeah, hello, Brenda Paws. Stated so well without a crystal ball, Katie, without being too specific. My family, my kids and I have had to deal with this issue in regards to their father and his church. When he was arrested, that who were very brave for turning him in. He, as well as the members of the church, claimed persecution. Church even went so far to hold a prayer vigil outside the county jail he was in. During the trial, 2 members of the church had no business being there, came every day as my daughters poured their hearts out to the jury to try and intimidate them. You know, he got 58 years in jail. Anyway, they are using God as a shield to hide their crimes. That's not Christians. That's a predictor. I don't think that they mean that. I've noticed this a lot. Not a believer myself, but I wondered what those who do think. Anyway, and now they're all saying, well said, well said, well said. So the flying monkeys are agreeing. But as I said, the issue that she's got is that, yeah, as I said, yes, the 10 Commandments are there. But yes, bear false witness. Has she been bearing false witness about the Duggars? Now, this last line was interesting because this, in my opinion, remember the Chrisleys are saying that they believe that they were set up, and Josh Duggar is saying that. So that's a go at both the Duggars and the Chrisleys. Now, I don't know whether they are or not, and I believe that the Chrisleys probably would have a stronger case because some of the evidence that was given was questionable. But I'm still very surprised that Josh Duggar and Todd Chrisley have ended up with the same amount of sentencing, which is really bizarre. But anyway, I don't. So now she's trying to. I mean, what you got to remember about people. This is in no way. I'm not what they've both been accused of is against the law, and they should be punished. But you got to remember that Christians are just normal people. At the end of the day, we're just normal people. We mess up just like everybody else does. You know, we're not it's. Life isn't, yeah. It just really bugs me that suddenly that, because you're a Christian and you make a mistake or you mess up or you do something wrong, that suddenly, you can't call yourself a Christian. Because we all. Now, this one also annoyed me because this is a rumor report. And she then goes and says that, the rumor's false. Why would you go through and put a false rumor out there and then prove that it was false? Yeah. And Ginger is sitting down with People magazine to talk about, I think there's a lot of green-eyed monster at the moment with Katie because they're all sitting down with the really big magazines and getting paid for it. I mean, she wouldn't pay. And then she's talking about Gwendolyn Brown launched an attack on her older brother. Yeah. And remember, there are 3 sides to every story: hers, his, and the truth. So, and this one says, now she's stating he lies. A few days ago, she co-signed what he said about Mary. It's a mean streak. About one time it happened, allegedly, according to Gwen. She and Peyton have such a toxic relationship. She praises her dad, skewers her brother. Like I've said before, this whole family is in dire need of some intense therapy. So, the other news I wanted to share with you is that so when I had my surgery, I had an assignment due, and I asked for a extension, and that extension I put in for a week. In hindsight, it was stupid because I should have put in longer, because of the fact I couldn't sit for a long period of time. And anyway, I didn't get the word count, and I submitted it, and I put on the cover note, look, I've submitted this. This is the best I could do. In hindsight, I've really stuffed up. I should have got a longer extension. However, here it is. I've ended up passing the assignment. Now, they did admit that there was parts of the essay that was less developed than the others, that there were parts where I start a point and I don't finish it, but they've said, in acknowledgement of the fact that you've done this, we understand that there was all this other stuff going on, because I'd submitted medical certificates and everything to get the extension, the hospital admission forms and everything. So at the end of the day, if I get 50%, I'm happy. I'm not looking to go, I'm not looking to be valedictorian of the law school. I'm just wanting to pass, and that's what I've done. So I've got an exam left to go. The exam's in a couple of weeks. And so that will be all fun and games. And workplace, and it's for workplace law. Workplace law in Australia is changing instantly, and it changed just before Christmas, and there are some more changes coming in after Christmas. So it's all very crazy at the moment, and the gig economy is one of the big issues at the moment. Hi, Vedandra. The gig economy is one of the big issues at the moment. If you don't know what the gig economy is, it's like these online platforms like Airtasker, Uber, whether they're contractors or employees or of a firm. These ones where you sign up and you get a job online, even cleaning jobs and stuff like that. Is this morning better than yesterday? You mean how I'm feeling, or in general? Oh, I don't know. So there's big arguments, and the courts in Australia have been all over the place, contradicting each other. So it's a real mess. So the new government, it's 1:15 a.m. my time to sleep. Oh, okay, it's 11:14 here. So it's nearly time to eat lunch. So the so because the courts are really tossing and turning over this, and there is no clear common law over it, the current government has said that they're going to regulate it. So they're going to put some procedures in place, and that should help the courts. But one of the big, there was a case called the Hungry Panda case. And so generally the courts have said that delivery drivers, or food delivery drivers on those apps, are contractors, not employees. But a driver was actually killed on a motorbike in Sydney. This is where it gets interesting, because although it was deemed he was a contractor by one court, when it came to workers' compensation is only available for employees. The family was actually granted workers' compensation, which then deemed that the worker was actually an employee, not a contractor. So again, we've got another case where it's all being contradicted. So now these contractors are actually employees, because if you're an employee, the employer has to pay super. You get, you have to get your leave loading if you're a casual. If you become part-time, you then get your sick leave and your personal leave and all these other things. So it's opening up a big can of worms, and then you've got all the gig economies saying, well, we're not all the same. There's been a carers platform started where people who are available to do caring for somebody. If you need in-home help, you can go onto a platform and book that. That's classed as gig economy. Their rates of pay are better, for example, than an Uber Eats driver. So it's all this complicated stuff, but the government's trying to protect those drivers just in case something may happen. So that's what my essay was on, and I didn't realize how big of a can of worms I started when I opened it, when I started on it, because I looked at it and I went, oh yeah, this will be fairly good. Yeah, so there's appeals, and it's just there's yeah. So I think come next month, by February, March, we should have a clearer idea about where gig economy fits in the scheme of things. And there have been multiple studies done and multiple papers done regarding this and why people do gig economy, the advantages and disadvantages, etc., etc., etc. I know I'm just rambling. I'm sorry. So, yeah, so that is what's going on. But yeah, so what's everything happening? I haven't found out. I haven't heard the latest on the Royal Watch. However, something's just appeared in my stream here that says experts have warned details revealed in Prince Harry's memoir could compromise the security of the royal family. It certainly needs to be looked at as to what kind of effects these statements from an intelligence perspective there are, and the Royal Protection Officer, former Royal Protection Officer, told Sky News. So I heard that they're a bit concerned about the coronation, about security for the coronation. So, and what I find to be really most, so I started off by saying, the big story is the ex-Australian cricketer, and the morning TV host. It's interesting that this has not been reported by the network that the TV host is on, but the rival network. So it says 4 words that will destroy Michael Clark's. They talked about getting your P's a little harder because of texting and driving. I had a banker. So when you are a P plater, so I live in the state of Victoria, when you're a P plater, you're not allowed to use your phone. You're not even allowed to use it for navigation as a P plater. And you have to have a 0 blood alcohol level. However, as I was having a discussion with my daughter, you're allowed to have satellite navigation. And so she's got her satellite navigation on her dashboard, and she's got her phone holder underneath. And so they would have to prove that she was using her phone navigation. Anyway, so it says that this ex-cricketer's reputation's in tatters. He was the Australian cricket captain on Wednesday night when footage of a public spat with his girlfriend was filmed by a bystander and obtained by a gossip rag. The wild fracas sees Clark slapped across the face and accused of cheating in this extraordinary footage. As the girlfriend yells at Clark about these alleged infidelities with his ex, the skipper denies the accusations. Oh, but in the midst of the chaos, the cricketer uttered 4 words on my daughter's life, he said. Sunrise, so this is the rival network, entertainment reporter, said that they'll be the final nail of the coffin in reputation. To his credit, he owns it and accepts full responsibility, but he used 4 words that I think will haunt him, and as I think it goes to his character or what people perceive of his character. Twice he says, on my daughter's life, it's not true. And of course, now he's indicating it was true. You don't pull out that card, and I'm just going to do this because there's a photo there of his daughter, and I don't want that. I'll come back to it now. So now he's saying it did happen. It's interesting. I accept full responsibility for the altercation and am shattered by my actions. The fight began when Clark, Jade, Carl Stefanovic, he's the breakfast TV host, and celebrity accountant mate were at dinner. It's understood the fashion designer, and then, yeah. So Edwards, who dated the former cricketer, released a statement condemning the actions. Anyway, so it goes on and on and on, but there was altercation, but as I said, the rival networks are really loving it. The rival networks are loving it. Initial 2-week assignment. So, yeah. You like learning new things? Yeah. So, yeah. So that unfortunately is the main news story of the day in Australia. Like, I just, you know, how many people in normal life is this? I mean, why is it such a big story? Is it because we hold our celebrities or perceived celebrities or sports stars in higher to a higher standard? Is it because I don't know, but as I said, I really don't care. Oh dear. Okay. The other thing. Okay, so there was. So there was a shooting in Queensland. I don't know where they're getting their guns from. 2 teenage boys have been charged, one cautioned after vehicles were struck with bullets and projectiles during a shooting incident in Queensland, Western Downs. So it was in Tara, 3 hours west of Brisbane on Wednesday. They've said 2 16-year-old boys have been charged with weapons and willful damage. A 14-year-old boy has been cautioned under the Youth Justice Act, and a 15-year-old boy was released without charge. Now, in Australia, although they are changing it, once you hit 10, you can be charged. Until the age of 14, you have limited capacity. So depends how. So he has a limited capacity. The 16-year-olds will be charged under the youth. They'll be charged. They'll go to. No, she hasn't. I've not seen anything about that. So that the boys were known to each other. There was concerning behaviour. So because they're 16, they'll be charged as juveniles. So there was a, and it's near the same place around where those 2 police officers were where the siege took place. So where Nathaniel Train and Garth Train, it was at Gareth, and where the police officers were shot and killed. So there seems to be a bit of an issue with these properties at the moment. But yeah, I don't know what the Queensland acts are. I know that I think the Northern Territory has just passed rules that they've raised the age of conviction. I think they've just raised it to 12 because they. So yeah, no, I've not seen anything on Lisa Marie Presley at all from Katie Joy. I've not seen anything. So that doesn't mean she hasn't. It just means I haven't seen it. But I would have thought. I would have thought though. She would have, because she likes to hit on bandwagons, doesn't she? She likes to jump on bandwagons. So. So yeah, that's about all I've got at the moment. I don't really have much else. But yeah, I just find that when you are a, you know, and she's just so obsessed with, Katie Joy's just so obsessed with proving that, I mean, all that she's really proving are that Christian people are normal people. So I think that's all I can, yeah, that's my interpretation of it. Um, yeah, things are starting to come, you know, things are starting to pick up pace now. So, everyone's getting back into it. 2 weeks' time, school will be back. So that's good. And I think in a few days, I haven't heard either, KJ, better watch it. I think Brenda pause. I think that's why she stay away from it, because she knows if she goes down that field, they will absolutely crucify her. So, oh, cool. So this has just come up to my in my feed. So at the moment, if you are charged with child SA and you're forced to pay compensation to your victims, a lot of the people are hiding their money in their super fund. Well, the government is about to stop that. They're going to close that loophole. Let me just pull this up. This is from the Minister, Stephen Jones. So here is what he says. Hang on.
We want to shut that loophole down. We want to ensure that convicted child sex offenders cannot use superannuation, which was set up for retirement income purposes, not to shield criminals' assets. So to ensure that we close the loophole, so any of these out-of-character contributions can be clawed back and used for the purpose of compensating victims if a court orders that. We want to shut that loophole.
So there you go. They want to shut down that loophole, so the court and the victims can get what. And then someone has just said, if a perpetrator dies, does the family get that, or does the victim get it? So there's going to be lots of questions that they're going to work out, but they've got to close that loophole to stop people from hiding their money. So anyway. So yeah, so that's what's going on. To see if there's anything else here that's appearing in any of my. But anyway, I'm gonna probably call it. I've got a class shortly, so I've got to prepare for that. But look, I'm hoping to get on later. Hopefully, I'll come on later tonight and let some. But if not, I hope you have a good day, good night, good morning, whatever it is, whatever time it is in your part of the world. I hope it's good. Stay safe. And if you wouldn't mind hitting like on your way out, and subscribe, ring the bell, and then you'll get alerted every time that I do something. That would be good, because at the moment I'm all over the place, but that's just me at the moment. So thank you all, and I'll catch you again next time.